Hey guys, Mike here, the Detroit Borg, with a look at the Roku 3. So this replaces the Roku 2 XS at the top end of Roku's media streaming lineup. So there are a bunch of boxes here. They all have different price levels and capabilities, but the Roku 3 is at the top end. Price is at $99. So we still have 1080p HD video, and we have that motion control remote, so you can use it for gaming and for navigation. But they've added a few new features with the Roku 3, including a new design, a new internal hardware that gives us 4 times the performance of the outgoing Roku 2 XS. We also have new dual band Wi-Fi here, so we have better range and performance thanks to dual band. Now the Roku 3 is the only model that also has an Ethernet port and a USB port for connecting external storage. So the Roku 3 also adds the ability to connect headphones to the remote control, so you can listen to the audio privately. So basically it overrides the audio on your television and broadcasts it over the headphones on the remote control. You can use any headphones, you don't have to use the ones that they've included, such as these purple earbuds. Alright, so let's crack this open and see what we get inside. And just lift the lid. So we have our instruction booklet. We have our Roku player wrapped in plastic. We have our remote control. Looks like it has its lanyard already attached, so let's lift that up. Alright, so there it is, all wrapped up. On the side we'll find our battery pack for the remote control. We'll find our headphones. You can see they're in-ear headphones. It looks like we have multiple ear tips as well. On the other side, there's another compartment on the other side here. We'll find our power supply for the Roku box. And at the bottom of the box, we'll just find some important product information, which is basically the legal and license information. Alright, so we have a quick start guide, and we don't need to go through all of this, but you can see it's basic literature. It tells you a little about the ports, what you'll need. You'll need to supply your own HDMI cable, you'll need to connect the power and battery, and you need to set up on your internet. Alright, so let's go ahead and peel off all of the plastic, starting with that Roku player. Alright, so let's take a close look around the design. You can see we have the 3 for Roku 3. On the side we find our fabric tag for Roku. On the back we'll find all of our ports, so that's our power port, reset port, Ethernet jack, we have our memory expansion slot there, as well as our HDMI. So you can see here that we no longer have analog AV output on this model. On the side we'll find our USB port for connecting external storage. Roku 3 branding on the front. We also have an LED light here which lights up when it's connected. Now on the bottom we'll find a rubber foot for gripability on your entertainment cabinet. And the first thing I noticed when handling this device is that although it's still very light, they've added some weight here. Their previous model, the Roku 2 XS, was so lightweight that HDMI cables would actually pull it off the shelf. I've actually had mine disappear behind my cabinet because the weight of the HDMI cable would actually pull it off the shelf because it was too light. So I'm glad that they've weighted it this time. Alright, so our next stop is the remote control. Again, this is a motion remote control, similar to a Wii style remote. So it looks very similar to the old remote. You can see we have our gaming controls here, so you can use it in landscape mode or a standard remote mode. So you can see your standard D-pad, your back button, home button, your settings button, play, pause, reverse, etc. You also have your battery compartment on the back. Now new this time is these volume controls for the headphone jack along the side. So you just push this button, slides right out. Alright, so my batteries are installed, and now I'm getting a flashing light indicating that this is in pairing mode, so it's ready to pair to the Roku player. So let's go ahead and get that connected. Now the interesting thing here is that this is actually using Wi-Fi to connect to the Roku player, not Bluetooth. This also means that it's not using IR, so you don't need line of sight with the Roku. Now another interesting feature here is that if you're listening to Pandora or some sort of music app, you can walk around the house or walk around within Wi-Fi range and still listen to it from the remote. Obviously you can't visually control it unless you have the app on your iPhone or something like that. Alright, so I've gone ahead and connected the Roku 3 to my little kitchen TV, which is easier to demonstrate on. And you can also see that I have my remote control here, and as soon as you press any of the buttons on the remote control, you can see it flickers and lights up for you. Alright, so let's go ahead and set this up for the first time. We're going to go ahead and select English, click OK. Now I need to connect to my network, so we're going to click Continue, and we're going to go to Wireless. It sees my time capsule, so let's click that, and I have to enter in my information. Okay, so it's successfully connected to my network, so we're going to click Continue to run the software update. Alright, so it's run the software update. Now it's giving us this little boot animation. All right, my next step is to activate the Roku. For this, you'll need to go to a computer. In my case, I'm actually just going to go to my iPhone. All right, so all I have to do is go to roku.com/link, and I'm going to take that code that they've given me, enter it in, and authorize my device. Now, my next step is to log in or create a Roku account. I already have one, so I'm going to go to, yes, I already have one, and log in. Now, once I've logged in, I can go ahead and add apps right from the web browser. So if I see any apps I want, I can go ahead and add them already. I've already added some to my previous Roku player, so I'm going to click continue with that. All right, so my Roku 3 is activated, and now it's preloading all of the apps I selected in the setup process. All right, so my setup is complete. Everything looks great. Now let's get started streaming, so let's click OK. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the basic user interface. So on the left-hand side, we have all of our categories. So I can see my channels, which is everything I've currently downloaded and logged into. So I have Netflix, Amazon, Instant Video, Hulu Plus, Flickster. And we have some apps like Weather Underground, so I can see the weather here. So you have a variety of apps here. So it's not just video or music. So I have music here, but you also have apps. So if we go to Weather Underground, just to show you. So there you go, you get a radar, satellite, everything like that. Now it's important to note that the apps dictate the user interface. So for example, the Netflix app will have a very different user interface than the Amazon Instant Video app. So let's go to Netflix. So we have Netflix, and you can see I've logged into my account already, so I see my previous history, so don't judge me. So here's Caprica. We can resume playing episode 1. Alright, so it starts streaming pretty quickly, and quality does improve once it buffers a little better. So if we go to the Amazon Instant Video app, you'll see a little different user interface. So there you go. I've already logged into my account here, so we go to Prime Instant Videos. I'll see all the videos I have available to me for free, such as Avatar. And we can resume playing. Of course, you can use the remote to scrub through it, so you get chapters. Now you can get more content by going to the channel store. So let's go to the channel store. And you can see it's broken down by featured, what's new, what's most popular, top paid. So there are some apps you pay for. A lot of them are subscription based. So if you go to the most popular, let's see if we find something that we can download. So let's go to the Smithsonian channel. Click OK. Add channel. Alright, so we can go right to the channel, and we can start watching the content here. Now, this is one of the channels. There are many channels on the Roku player which provide free content. You don't need to log in. You just load the app and you get free content. Now, the settings button is contextual. So, for example, if you're on Netflix and you press the settings button, you have a variety of options there. Now, you can also remove channels. So you just go to the app, again, press that settings button, and you can rate it. You can remove the channel, or you can move it around. So if I want to move it around, just click OK. And I can jog it around on the screen, left or right. Click OK to drop it. But if I want to remove it, just hold that settings button again and remove the channel. Now we also have search. So we can search for something like Star Trek, which is a previous search I did, but let's go to Battlestar Galactica. Let's really geek it out here. Alright, so I can see what services it's available on. I can see it on Amazon, I can see it on Vudu, or Blockbuster on demand. You can see the pricing as well, so $3.99 for a rental. Another big feature here is that motion remote control, again, works a lot like the Nintendo Wii player, so all you have to do is wave it around in the air, and you can see your cursor here, which helps you to navigate. So we're going to play some Angry Birds. So it's pretty basic in terms of Angry Birds, so all you have to do is hold the OK button, and move it up or down, left and right, and launch. There you go. Now in terms of using the headphone jack on the remote control, you can connect any set of headphones. Doesn't have to be the ones they've included. So as soon as you connect it, it overrides the audio and takes it right to your headset. Now I can also control the volume, so you'll see that it appear in the upper right corner of the display. And as soon as I pull the headphone jack off, the volume goes back, or the audio goes right back to the television. Now, in case you're wondering, this does not act as a volume controller for the TV. You can see you'll just get a indicator that that function is not available until you have headphones connected. Now perhaps the best way to navigate your Roku player is by using the app. So for example, I can see my channels. I can go to my remote control. So I have an on-screen remote control which works very similarly to the physical remote control. So I have all my controls up here: home button, back button, options button. I also have my media controls. More importantly, I also have a keyboard. So if I need to enter in any passwords or do any searches, that's one way of doing it instead of having to